everyone, and welcome to my corner of the world. Today's card uses the umbrella builder punch, but we're not doing any umbrellas. We're going to use it to make this flower. So I am going to use some slightly different colors. This one uses Blackberry Bliss. This is Mossy Meadow, and then Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather. But my colors today for this tutorial are using a couple of the new colors from Stampin' Up. So this is the Misty Moonlight, and then this is the Just Jade. And then I'm going to be using the basic, Blushing Bride and the Rococo Rose for my flower colors. So how we're going to start is using the Under My Umbrella stamp set, and we're using this this stamp for this particular project, and I'm also going to be using one of the small flowers as a bit of a decorative piece, and then It's Your Day for my greeting. And you can see there's some really lovely images and greetings on this stamp set. Right, so we're going to start with some scraps of Rococo Rose. I've already pre-stamped and cut out the ones in Blushing Bride, so I just want to show you how I handle the cardstock for this punch. I find it works best if you use a strip of card rather than sort of a square or rectangle or something. So I'm going to basically stamp 2 in this direction. I've already got one in this color, and this flower uses a total of 6 petals. So by doing it in this direction and then taking my punch, you can see that the punch runs this direction. So by putting it in this way and lining it up, you're more economic with your card, and it slides in, and you're not cutting this piece out and wasting cardstock. So there's one, and we just take the other out of this piece. So I'm just kind of lining up. There's like a little pointy bit on the tip of the umbrella, and then just getting an even margin around the rest of my umbrella. So those are our 2 flower pieces. Where did the other one go? There it is. So what I'm also then doing is, if you look, I'm putting a curve on them. If you look at my original card, it's kind of got a curve. So I'm just putting it on one side, making sure I'm going to do it the same side. So basically I turned my card over, and I used my bone tool, my bone folder, to just soften and curl one side. I want the other side to be flat. So there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate them to create my flower. So I'm going to get a little scrap of card. You can use a tiny circle, but it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be seen either way. And I'm going to use glue dots for this because I want to work fast. Otherwise you could use liquid glue. I think snail would not be a good idea. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to hold everything in place. So what I'm doing is I'm going to overlap like this. So that's the wrong way, Cindy, because the curly bits are in the wrong place, but never mind. Right, so I'm headed for, I'm looking to do my curled over piece needs to be up like that. There we go. So those are my curl pieces, and I've managed to get one on my finger, so rather than waste it, I'm going to pop it on there and then just gently peel it off. And I'm going to pop that like that, and basically what I need it to be is like a semicircle, so that it fits on my flower. And then again I'm going to put my next one on. Ooh, if you can hear some beeping outside, it looks like a neighbour is having a pod delivered. I guess that means they might be moving. And then on my last two, and again making sure that my curvy bit is always facing the same way. And I'm easing them round to make sure that it fills the space. And then this last one is going to have to be overlapping this one and underlapping that one. So I'm going to put a glue dot on the front of this one because I need it to overlap and underlap somehow. I've got to make that happen. There we go. I think I've got it now. There we go. Just by pressing it flat, and then just gradually easing my curled bits up just to give my lovely 3D effect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on this piece of card, and I'm just going to stick it down and make sure it's all nicely in and firm so it doesn't fall apart when I put it on my card. So there, I think I've got it now. Just press it nice and firmly down. As I say, now I've got my curly bits. And then I punched myself some sprigs. These are using the sprig punch, this one here, and I've cut them out of the moonlight, misty moonlight. I can't get used to the names of the colours. And I'm just going to tuck them in amongst my petals like this, and just try and hide the stalky bit. Let's pop that down like that. In fact, if I use the pointy end of my tool, I think I'll find it a lot easier rather than the spatula end. Okay, so this is my last set of sprigs, and again I just want to make sure that the little stem is just hiding in here, and like that. Okay, so that's how you make your flower. The rest of this is just assembly. Now, as I say, this is the new Just Jade, and I have embossed it with the new Old World embossing folder, and it really has a lovely effect. Really love this one. Okay, I'm just going to attach that there and let that dry for a few moments. This is my insert. This is the bit that I always put inside my cards because it's easier to write on either white or vanilla. So this is vanilla, and I'm going to use a couple of the other stamps, one of the other stamps anyway. This is like a little flower, and I just want to put a bit of edging around my insert here, and I'm going to do the opposite corner as well. I'm deliberately not putting the whole stamp. I want the edges. I don't want the whole stamp on there. but that's just me. And then the envelope, I'm going to do the same. I'll make sure the envelope's the right way up. There's a lot of times that I've found that I've stamped to the bottom of the envelope. I'll just double check now. Okay, so those are those pieces. And my greeting. Okay, where's my greeting gone? So my greeting, I'm using a strip of the Misty Moonlight, and my, oh, it looks like I've lost my piece of paper that I was going to stamp my greeting on. Well, that's not very handy. It must be here somewhere. Oh, excuse my hitting my thing. Okay then, well, we'll just have to cut ourselves another piece. Bear with me, because it was here. Okay. So this is 1/2 inch. This is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm using the It's Your Day, and I'm just going to stamp on there, close up my ink pad so my elbow doesn't end up in it, and then with some paper snips I'm just going to cut a couple of angles. Then I'm just going to attach it to my other strip. And then just trim off either end to give myself a bit of an even border. Okay, so I think I've got all my pieces now. So we're going to stick this piece inside. Now you can use snail or this is liquid glue. I prefer to use the liquid glue because it gives me some movement, so I can make sure that that's centered up. I have just a scallop circle. This is of vanilla, and I just kind of wanted, because it was sort of lost when I did it like that, so I decided just to put it on a vanilla piece of vanilla. It just gave it a bit more of a lift, more of a feature. Okay, so we're gonna pop that so it's gonna hang down the bottom like that, and then I'm gonna put a few more dimensionals on the back again, just to give it a bit more presence. You've spent a lot of time making that flower. You know, you really want it to smack the recipient in the eye. Make sure that they really know how much effort you've put into your flower. Okay, so I'm going to pop at an angle, and I'm going to make sure that my pieces are in the footprint of my card. I don't want anything hanging over, because otherwise it's going to get squished and squashed when I pop it in the envelope. A couple of dimensionals on the back of my greeting, and that's my piece there, like that. And then my final flourish is to just use some of these epoxy droplets. I think that's what they're called. But I'm going to just use a big one in the middle like that, and really it's to cover up the workings. Now on my other card I did put an extra few around. I might go ahead and do that again in a moment, but I just pop them here like this, and I think it was 6, so I just pop a couple in for now. Oh, they're lively little things. They like to shoot all over the place. And then I have my finished card. So this is how you can use an umbrella to create a flower. Well, I do so hope you've enjoyed this one. I had fun working it out, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.